This is our last lesson for Module 7. We are on Lesson 5, and we are talking about how to name and write covalent compounds, how we're going to write the formulas, and how we're going to name them. So first and foremost, with naming covalent compounds, it is different from ionic. We are going to use prefixes, and right here I have the prefixes for you. You need to memorize these prefixes, okay? Some of them should be familiar to you. Others may be slightly different from what you have used before in like math class. So we have mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, and deca. Our rules are right here, and this is it. We put prefixes in front of all elements unless there is only one of the first element. So for example, CO2 is called carbon dioxide. We did not put mono with carbon. It is not monocarbon dioxide. We just don't do mono at the beginning. N2O would be called dinitrogen because there's two of them, dinitrogen monoxide. We do use mono everywhere else, and we do use all other prefixes at the beginning. We just don't use mono at the front. Why? I don't entirely know. I'm not the writer of the rules. I'm just the message bearer. Here's the other thing that, is mainly for the sake of simplicity. If you have a prefix with an A or a prefix with an O, which is like mono, and then most of them have A's, like you can see right here. This is most of them, 4 through 10 and 1. When you combine it with oxide, we drop the A or the O. Like it is monoxide, not monooxide or monoxide. We dropped one of those off of there. So it went bye-bye. And it's tetroxide, not tetraoxide. Otherwise, like you leave it be. If you are going to combine these with the word iodide, then it would be monoiodide. You would still keep the di. It would be diiodide, triiodide, tetraiodide. If we combine it with oxygen, though, we're going to drop it. Monoxide. Now, di and tri, you keep dioxide, trioxide, tetroxide, pentoxide, hexoxide. As you can tell on these as well, I guess kind of an unwritten rule here that I didn't put down is that the endings still end in "ide", just like your ionic compounds did. And we do not change the name of the first one. We are simply going to name the first element with a prefix if it's anything but one. We're going to put a prefix on the second one and change the ending to IDE. So let's practice this some, okay? We are going to name these. This one, there's 4. So we would name it tetraphosphorus. And then this would be pentasulfide. I changed the ending to IDE. I left this one as phosphorus off the table, changed the ending of that one to "ide". I used prefixes on both because I didn't have one of the first thing. Okay? This one, I think I left off a letter, so let's just make up something. Let's make it SI. So SiO2. Then we would call this one silicon because there's one. We're not going to call it monosilicon. We're just going to name the element, and then we would put the prefix for 2, which is di, and change the ending to "ide. Silicon dioxide. This one would simply be sulfur, and then hexafluoride. No prefix, there's one. Named the element, hexa for 6, and I changed the ending to IDE. So what you could do right now is pause it, try the other 5, and then come back and check your answers with me. So if you want to do that, go ahead. This one, there's 2. So we are going to put di with silicon. I'm still not changing the endings. I only changed the endings of the last one. The last one, there's 6, so hexa, and change bromine to bromide. Disilicon hexabromide. This one, sulfur. There's 4 of the chlorines. The word for 4 is tetra. Change chlorine to chloride. Sulfur tetrachloride. This one, carbon, tetra. Now what do we do with hydrogen? We make it tetrahydrogen. hydride. Okay, sorry, my pen is delayed again. This one, diboron. There's one silicon, so mono. And what do we do with silicon? We're going to change it to silicide. I think that sounds kind of silly, but it is what it is. Diboron monosilicide. The last one is nitrogen trifluoride. All right. I don't think this is all that bad. Most students don't usually think that it's bad. Now, I like this part even better because there's less writing on my part. How do you write the formulas? Well, you just follow what it says. If it does not have a prefix, like I don't see a prefix here, then we just write down the letter. That's SB is antimony. Tri means 3, bromide is bromine, so SBr3. Boom, it's that simple. Hexa is 6 in boron, so B6. Di means 2, and silicide is silicon, so B6Si2. Chlorine would be Cl, dioxide, O2. Hydrogen monoiodide. Hydrogen is H, mono is 1, so just HI. Iodine, I. Pentafluoride, IF5. Dinitrogen, N2, trioxide, O3. Phosphorus is P, triiodide is I3. This isn't bad, y'all. It is time for some practice. I don't have a practice time slide. I will say this. When we move forward, our next module is going to be comparing and contrasting ionic and covalent. We did not use any of these prefixes in our ionic stuff. This is only for covalent, and what I have for you is practice writing and naming these formulas. So get to it.